Welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for tapping in. I am going to come back. There's some other stuff I want to talk to you guys about, but this is a very short hearing, but it was a very interesting hearing. And to me, it said a lot. Number one, this was supposed to be the final pretrial hearing before Jarvis goes to trial. If you have been following the case over here or anywhere, you know that Jarvis has 18 charges, including a murder charge for Desire Harris. He has a litany, a laundry list of charges, with the most serious offense of murder and many other serious offenses, including sexual assault on minors. It's just it's awful. Okay. So he's set for trial in February of 2026. And this was to be the final prior to that. But the judge set another pretrial in anticipation of potentially being a resolution prior to the trial. So what does that mean? Um, we can only assume. But when the judge is saying let's have another pretrial conference in anticipation of a resolution prior, that says some stuff to me. But let's listen to this and we'll come back, we'll run it back and then get all the way up into it, and kind of try to figure out what they're talking about. Okay, so let's get into it. Let me start it. So it's very short, but like I said, they say a lot. Hopefully I can. Okay, am I stuck? All right, you guys, I may have to go over to my other computer.
Okay, very good. So I think it would probably make sense to schedule one final pretrial date before our trial. In the event of a potential resolution of these cases, thinking at least 3 to 4 weeks before the trial date. Is that fair?
I think so, Judge.
Yes. Okay. All right. So if you all have your calendars handy, why don't we get our next date? It'll be final pretrial date. Mr. Makepeace or Mr. Lee, are you putting an expiration date on the offer that was extended?
Judge, given that we are still in discussions, not at this time, and in anticipation of adding that last case that was just gone over to that offer, so no, not at this time.
Okay. Would you like to come back for final pretrial January?
Okay, guys, give me just a second. Let me switch computers really quick. I'm sorry about that. But you guys heard what he just said. There was an offer. He said, are you putting a time limit on the offer that was extended? Hello? So they've extended him an offer. Is he gonna take it? I mean, I don't know. We don't know what the offer is. This is the beginning of the trial right here. I mean, excuse me, the beginning of the hearing at this moment. So I don't know if they didn't want us to know the details of the plea or what, but I don't know. I'm having some trouble with my video, so I need to switch computers really quick. My bad, y'all. Let's see what's going on here. Let me try to fix it really quick before I.
23rd. It's a Friday.
On behalf of defense, Mr. Riggins and I will both be in separate trials, but if we did it around noon, we could do it during the break. Sure.
Now, for a second there, I thought that was Roxy. I'm not sure if that's her or not. A family member. So I don't know if that's Roxy right there behind him or not. It looks like her to me, but I can't 100% vouch for if that's her or not. But I feel like that looks like her. So my bad if it's not her, but I feel like it looks like her. Anyway, Um, let me try to get this back. I don't know why it's spinning this way. Okay. Let's try to make it through and then I'll rerun it back.
Okay, so you think you will be in trial on Friday?
There's a good chance, yes.
And go ahead.
I'm also in trial, but I think a noon break would be good.
We could conceivably push it a week and go to that Friday, January 30th date is a date that is pretty wide open currently on the docket. Okay, so you think you will be in trial on Friday?
There's a good chance, yes.
And go ahead.
I'm also in trial, but I think a noon break would be good.
We could conceivably push it a week and go to that Friday, January 30th date is a date that is pretty wide open currently on the docket.
I think keeping it on the January 23rd and just make it work with our schedules. I'll also be in trial, but on one trade, just because I don't want to go too close to the trial, given the, if it possibly a resolution on that date, we would have to start. We would want to know sooner rather than later.
Understood. How many potential witnesses are you anticipating for trial? What's your best estimate?
Judge, I believe we did file a witness list previously. I think there was upwards of 80,
80? Okay, from the defense at this point?
maybe 3.
Okay, all right.
You said maybe 3 or 8.
That was it, maybe 3, correct?
Just trying to one up you.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, we can keep that January 23rd date then. I'm going to schedule it, I'm going to put it in the system at 10:30. I know that you all will be communicating with each other. If you're in trial and you're going to come on a lunch break, just make sure that you're communicating that to each other as well as the court, okay?
Understood, Judge.
All right. Was there anything additional for today's purposes that needed to be addressed from the people?
No, for the people, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Gray?
Not from defense, thank you.
All right, we'll see you all January 23rd. Have a great weekend, great holidays, all of that, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Be well.
Okay, so this hearing of at least of what we saw was literally less than 3 minutes. It starts out with the judge basically saying, I think it's a good idea if we have another pretrial conference. And they all agreed, yes. And then the judge says, are we going to put a time limit on the offer that was extended? And not Miss Ripley, but the other attorney said at this time, no. So they offered him something. Maybe they offered him, I don't know what they offered. I can't even begin to estimate like what they would consider, considering the volume of charges and how heinous these charges are, including close familial family members. There have been accusations by daughters and also the niece of one of his baby mothers. And I'm sure it, you know, it's just been absolutely disgusting and mind blowing what this guy was out here doing in everybody's faces. On top of the disappearance of a very young girl, and basically that she has been declared deceased, and that he was carrying on a full on relationship with this young lady. And she's really a child. She was a child and she disappeared one day on her way home from school, and there are witnesses and evidence to support her going to his shop, going on a trip to its Ypsilanti, kind of an afternoon drive out to Ypsilanti with one of his cohorts to go deliver a car. She met family of this other person. So people saw her on this day after the time she disappeared and did not make it home. But she was never seen again after that. So just a horrific set of circumstances. And the fact that this man, Portia, The fact that this man won't even show his face during hearings, he keeps his head down, he keeps a COVID mask on, he looks down, he never kind of looks up, he never faces the judge, he doesn't seem to talk too much to his representation. He just keeps it very much nose down, and that's fine. I mean, if he's sitting there ashamed, he should be, because this guy has done absolutely disgusting work out here, and he has nothing to hold his head up for. But um do I think that he will take a deal? Absolutely. Why would he sit there? Because if the prosecution has 80 witnesses and the defense only has 3, not to say that they need a ton, it's the prosecution's job to prove their case, but at the end of the day, for them to have potentially 80 witnesses, and could, let's say they even went through half of the witnesses, because keep in mind there's about 6, it's maybe 6 or 7 cases in total right now, 7 cases, and 18 right now, 18 different charges. And if you bundle them up, it's looking like about 7 different cases. This guy is going to have to sit there for potentially weeks and be dragged. If you saw the preliminary hearing, you already know what's going to happen. That's a glimpse of what the trial could look like. If they offered him a deal, he would have to be even more of a fool, than because it's going to spare him the details. And it would be really horrible for these children to have to sit in the public, to have to tell these stories, even though they'll protect the kids when they're telling their testimony. But these kids have been through a lot. They've lost their cousin. Some of these kids, and now a few adults who were victimized by this man who is biologically their father. This is really a horrible set of circumstances. And even though I know that the public would like to know and understand what happened, this guy has put a lot of people through a lot. And I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't know what's going to happen here. Anyway, let me see if I can run it back again. But that's what I heard. You guys tell me differently, but I feel like there was more to this. So again, I'm going to try and see if I can get the transcripts. We're going to see, girl, because sometimes it's hard to get your hands on these things. You put in an order and it takes forever for it to come. And I'm not local, so
Yes, sir.
let's hear.
Very good. So I think it would probably make sense to schedule one final pretrial date before our trial, in the event of a potential resolution of these cases. Thinking, at least 3 to 4 weeks before the trial date. Is that fair?
I think so, Judge, yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you all have your calendars handy, why don't we get our next date? It'll be final pretrial date. Mr. Makepeace or Mr. Lee, are you putting an expiration date on the offer that was extended?
Judge, given that we are still in discussions, not at this time, and in anticipation of adding that last case that was just found over to that offer, so no, not at this time.
Okay. Would you like to come back for final pretrial January 23rd? It's a Friday.
On behalf of defense, Mr. Riggins and I will both be in separate trials, but if we did it around noon, we could do it during the break, sure.
Okay, so you think you will be in trial on Friday?
There's a good chance, yes.
And go ahead.
I'm also in trial, but I think a noon break would be good.
We could conceivably push it a week and go to that Friday, January 30th date is a date that is pretty wide open currently on the docket.
I think keeping it on the January 23rd and just make it work with our schedules. I'll also be in trial, but on lunch break, just because I don't want to go too close to the trial, given the, if it possibly a resolution on that date, we would have to start. We would want to know sooner rather than later.
Understood. How many potential witnesses are you anticipating for trial? What's your best estimate?
Judge, I believe we did file a witness list previously. I think there was it 80?
80? Okay, from the defense at this point?
Maybe 3.
Okay, all right.
You said maybe 3 or 8?
That was a maybe 3, correct?
Just trying to one up you.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, we can keep that January 23rd date then. I'm going to schedule it, I'm going to put it in the system at 10:30. I know that you all will be communicating with each other. If you're in trial and you're going to come on a lunch break, just make sure that you're communicating that to each other as well as the court, okay?
Understood, Judge.
All right. Was there anything additional for today's purposes that needed to be addressed from the people?
No, for the people, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Baker?
Not from the fence, thank you.
All right, we'll see you all January 23rd. Have great weekends, great holidays, all of that, okay? All right,
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Be well.
Okay. There goes Jarvis again. Trying to peace out without looking at the camera and trying to duck out, basically. Trying to duck out as fast as he can. All right, okay. So you heard it. So apparently the district attorney has made an offer. What the details are of the offer, we do not know. Click on Detroit, basically started the camera. It appears that the court had already been called to order because the case had already been called. The appearances had already been done. By the time this video started, it was the judge saying it sounds like we need to have another conference. So obviously there was other conversation before we got looped in, and Click on Detroit turned on their cameras. So we missed a lot. I don't even care if we missed 2 minutes. Whatever we missed the information to tell us. So if somebody was in the courtroom, they heard it. Unfortunately, we don't get to hear it at this point because they didn't turn on the camera, which I get it. There may be, maybe they just don't want to broadcast the deal out. And if you were there, you were there. Or maybe they also did ask the media if there's any media in the courtroom to not discuss it. But it does sound like there's some heavy talk about a resolution. They don't have a time period where it will expire. It sounds like they are adding the latest charge number 18, with it looked like the name that I saw on the docket as it relates to the victim was another daughter. I'm gonna just say that. I mean, it's on the docket. If any of you guys are looking at the docket, then you'll see it. But another one of his children that is still a minor, okay? And lived in the household with Naziah. I'm just gonna say that because I feel like it's important because these kids have been really traumatized. These kids have been severely traumatized. They have been betrayed by their father, their what it looks like, and this is my opinion, their mother potentially, who may have turned a blind eye. And then also their cousin just disappeared into thin air. Like this is just it's very awful. So I don't know if this guy's gonna take the deal. I can't imagine why he would not. If he has been having a hard time sitting in court for these hearings, wait till the prosecution bring 80 people to sit and tell their story because again, back to the preliminary hearing, we heard a lot during that preliminary hearing. The preliminary hearing was 5 days. Well, it was the one day with King, and then it was a pause for several weeks, and they came back, and then they had all those days back to back to back, and Judge Elias Sabri called him a monster to his face, and that was just the preliminary hearing. And he has gotten 2 or 3 additional cases since then. It's Maybe the deal is just we'll spare you the trial and you can just go on ahead and do life. We don't know what the deal is, right? Um, it's awful. It's awful, guys. The texts were, I could barely listen to the text messages. Okay. I could barely listen to the text messages. If you are new to this case, you hadn't heard of this case, if you don't know who Jarvis Butts is, he is a serial perpetrator, offender of sexual assault and sexual crimes against women and children. And he has a known history. He's been in jail most recently on a gun charge. He's a convicted felon and he was caught with a gun. He also had a probation violation and he has been in jail since soon after his baby mom's niece came up missing, that it came out that he was having a full on, I'm going to say situation because a child is not able to have a relationship with a grown man, but there was a situation going on for a very long time that there's no way that adults who were caring for this young girl could not have been aware of, considering that nobody really had their own phones. The man was texting this girl on his baby mom, her slash aunt's phone. It's just disgusting. And so the trial's supposed to be in February. They're going to have a pretrial. What did they say? January 23rd. And the judge said he would like to know as soon as possible. And if they are going to have a resolution by that final pretrial, I would almost expect that that pretrial could be when he stands up and wants to plead guilty. I'm just saying, if it comes to that, he's going to have to stand there and plead guilty to everything. And that will give them the opportunity to not have to send out jury notices, procure a jury of people in Wayne County, Michigan, who do not know about this case, and because they need time to be able to cultivate a jury. I am a court watcher. I do want to see the wheels of justice turn, and I would love to see a jury take this particular case and lay down a verdict. But at the end of the day, this guy is guilty. These children have been through a lot. These kids are not coming to tell stories and fantasy fiction. Some of the things that have been said are things that kids do not know anything about unless they experienced it. And at the end of the day, the main thing is that this is the type of person we do not need on the streets to further victimize children and women. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. Women who are very thirsty to have a man in the house and will turn their back and give a blind eye to a predator like this in their home just to have someone in the house. Now, some people may not have been turning a blind eye. So I'm not accusing everybody of that, but I'm sorry. He has benefited from some women who have turned a blind eye and have allowed him to have his way in their homes and have really victimized children. And it's so heartbreaking to me. It's so heartbreaking. So I don't know. The main thing is that he gets put away forever. And that might be an unpopular opinion, and people might feel like, well, Fran, you should be more biased. I can't be biased on this. I just can't. I just feel like the man is, if he stands up and pleads guilty, then he's going to get exactly what he deserves. And if he wants to be judged by a jury of his peers, then he can be a man, stand up and let the people have the case and allow a jury to make a decision and try his luck. But I don't think that they're going to come back with anything different. So, you know what I'm saying? If he wants to save the taxpayer money of the good people of Detroit, Michigan, and Wayne County, then he might want to take the deal. I just think that, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. And maybe there needs to be, maybe some people do need to be dragged in the public so that people can know what they turn their back to when because there's been a lot going on over the last year, and I'm not even getting into the family, and I'm really talking specifically about the women who allowed Jarvis in their homes. I don't have any comment on the family or anything like that outside of Shannon and Annette and those who were complicit under that roof that allowed some of these things to occur, and any other roofs where Jarvis was allowed to have his way with these children. It's just absolutely disgusting. Anyway, is the pretrial recorded? Yes, just hit the bar back. Hit the bar back or go to click on Detroit. We played it a minute ago and I was having some problems. Let me see if I can pull it up again. If I can, I'll play it again. But if you slide the bar back, we listened to it. It was only 3 minutes. There's going to be another pretrial conference. If you want the detail, if you want some more detail about what Jarvis Butts has been up to, if you're not familiar with the case or just want to get refamiliarized, I have a whole entire playlist. And it will give you everything that you need to know regarding what's happened with this case and etc. Hey, Jersey Twin. Hey, shouts out to all my people from Jersey and everybody. We have a lot of new subscribers, new friends who have joined the family. So welcome, 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 guys. Make sure to tap in as you come in. It's very much appreciated. Okay. Let's get into it, guys. Sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulty. I don't normally go live on this computer. This is like my, let's just say, the kitchen computer. And baby, I should have gone right into my office like I knew I should have. But we're not going to talk about it. We're just gonna be about it at this moment. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and go on mute on this one and just let it play all the way through. But you can tell, obviously, there was conversation going on before the camera clicked in. Okay, here we go.
Yes, sir. Okay, very good. So I think it would probably make sense to schedule one final pretrial date before our trial, in the event of a potential resolution of these cases. Thinking, at least 3 to 4 weeks before the trial date. Is that fair?
I think so, Judge, yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you all have your calendars handy, why don't we get our next date? It'll be final pretrial date. Mr. Makepeace or Mr. Lee, are you putting an expiration date on the offer that was extended?
Judge, given that we are still in discussions, not at this time, and in anticipation of adding that last case that was just found over to that offer, so no, not at this time.
Okay. Would you like to come back for final pretrial January 23rd? It's a Friday.
On behalf of the defense, Mr. Riggins and I will both be in separate trials, but if we did it around noon, we could do it during the break. Sure.
Okay, so you think you will be in trial on Friday?
There's a good chance, yes.
And go ahead.
I'm also in trial, but I think a noon break would be good.
We could conceivably push it a week and go to that Friday, January 30th date is a date that is pretty wide open currently on the docket.
I think keeping it on the January 23rd and just make it work with our schedules. I'll also be in trial, but on lunch break, just because I don't want to go too close to the trial, given the, if it possibly a resolution on that date, we would have to start. We would want to know sooner rather than later.
Understood. How many potential witnesses are you anticipating trial? What's your best estimate?
Judge, I believe we did file a witness list previously. I think there was an 80.
80? Okay, from the defense at this point?
Maybe 3.
Okay, all right.
You said maybe 3 or 8?
That was maybe 3, correct?
Just kind of one of you.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, right, we can keep that January 23rd date then. I'm going to schedule it, I'm going to put it in the system at 10:30. I know that you all will be communicating with each other. If you're in trial and you're going to come on a lunch break, just make sure that you're communicating that to each other as well as the court, okay?
Understood.
All right. Was there anything additional for today's purposes that needed to be addressed from the people?
No, for the people, Judge, thank you.
Ms. Gray?
Not from the fence, thank you.
All right, we'll see you all January 23rd. Have a great weekend, great holidays, all of that, okay? All right,
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Be well.
Okay, hopefully, okay, you can hear me. So it opens up again with, oh, the judge is saying, yeah, okay. So I think we need another pretrial date. So obviously they were discussing the deal or discussing whatever prior to the camera turning on. So we missed a chunk of the conversation, but nonetheless, there is obviously a deal on the table for Jarvis Butts. That's the news this afternoon. Jarvis Butts has a deal, and it does not have an expiration because they're still working to add the last case, which is the case that includes one of the children from under Shannon Harris's roof. Okay. So that's what's going on. It sounds like he's got a deal. They're adding the last case, which was the 18th charge, on top of murder. Um, so I don't know what the deal is. I don't think there's death penalty in Michigan. I don't think so. It might be. I don't know what kind of deal they could give him other than just sparing him having to sit for weeks to go through potentially 80 witnesses. So I don't know what else kind of deal he could have. Because based on what he's got with just the sexual assaults, he could be in jail for the rest of his life. As far as the murder charge, again, rest of his life. So let's see. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so he could just spend, maybe they're going to just negotiate it to life plus 50 rather than 2 or 3 life sentences. Who knows? At the end of the day, like I said, it would be interesting to hear the trial, but considering when you think about the fact that his crimes include children, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? I just want justice for these children and for Naziah. It's really sad what happened to all of these children, and he needs to be off the streets. He does not need to be able to be out. Um, so that's the most important thing. But, if you saw the preliminary hearing that took place like almost a year ago now, um, to have a judge sit there and look him in the face and tell him that he is a monster, you have to know that he's something pretty gross. Um, she was absolutely disgusted by what she heard over those days. So, pretty sad. So, right. And unfortunately, when they do I forgot what they call it. It's well, they have is it the colloquy? Once he colloquies the witness, which basically, are you giving this freely, intelligently, and da 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 da. And are you actually, in fact, are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty? Mr. Butts, you have been accused of this. You have been accused of that. How do you plead? And then, okay, are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty? Are you being coerced? Have you been threatened? Have you been any of those things? So they go through each and every charge and they ask him for each one. Are you freely, knowingly, like, do you know what you're doing? Have you been coerced? Have you been threatened? Is there any reason? Has anyone promised you anything above and beyond you pleading guilty at this moment, type of thing? And then, but he is not necessarily required. And I don't know that they can make that a condition of a plea that he has to tell. It would be nice if he could lay her to rest and give the people that love her an opportunity to lay her down to rest and put her down properly, in a peaceful place. And, but who knows? He might be too ashamed to say, he may. These days, I'm just going to say there's so many people out here doing so many horrible things that it may be better to not know that we don't know. You know what I mean? Um, it may just be better to not know, even though I'm sure the people that love her, her family, that love her and care about her and want to lay her to rest, I'm sure they want to know. Um, it's awful. Okay, guys, I just want to thank our two benefactors this live stream. Thank you so much for contributing. I am going to come back, but I didn't want to include this in the next live. And I'm so sorry, y'all, for the technical difficulty. Thank you, everyone who stuck around. You guys are real ones. I hope that you will please make sure to hit the thumbs up for me, and I will see you guys a little bit later. But yeah, this is the latest Jarvis Butts update. Jarvis was in court. Jarvis is looking pitiful. Jarvis has every reason to be ashamed and not hold his head up. We don't care to see his face anyway. Okay. Um, and the next court date is January 23rd. It sounds like 10:30. And there might be some big news, because if he's going to stand up and plead guilty, baby, that's going to be it. And then he will be sentenced accordingly. So we're going to see, is he going to take it to the box, or is he going to take the deal? Um, I just feel like, based on his demeanor for the past year, we have been watching this man go to these pretrial hearings, from preliminary to probable cause to all of the things. And this man cannot show his face. He cannot show up anywhere without a COVID mask. I don't know that he's going to want to go through a trial. So I almost feel like we might be hearing some news on the 23rd. Um, and that's it. That's all. Okay. Hey, Dem folks. Rich Auntie, Jennifer, everybody, Keonce. Okay, guys, just bear with me. I'll be back. I need to go get my baby. So let me go handle my mom business, and I will be back to talk to you guys a little bit later on. Okay. Have a good afternoon, guys. I will see you later. If you're on the replay, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Set your notifications to all, and I will see you next time I go live, post another video, and all of the things. Bye, guys.